Hi guys, hope you're all good. I think we've got about a minute to go before we get to the 4:30 mark, so we'll just let some people join us and we'll get started for the Friday Facebook Live session. Okay, so I can see a couple of people have joined us from the office. So hi Katie, hi Dan. I can see what you're all up to this time because with the magic of technology I've got the camera faced me, so if you do want to ask any questions as we go along, I'll be able to feed them back to myself and give you the answer, so that's good. We're going to get started very shortly, so we'll just let a couple of people more come on. Good to see you all. Hi Lee, hi Abby. Hope you're good. Hope you're looking forward to the Bank Holiday Monday. Yeah. Oh, Rob's watching too. So the MD is in the house. So hi Rob. Hi Emma. Hope all is well and hope all is good. Going to get started very short. We're just letting some people join us. Going to do it slightly different today to normal. So keep that interaction coming in. I feel like I've got a room full of people. It's wonderful. Okay. Anybody up to anything good for the Bank Holiday Monday? Looking forward to it? Or have we got some people that are working? Let me know. Let me hear what exciting things you're up to. Should be good. Now we're going to be joined today by some, not obviously alongside me, but I do know that there's some people from Care Management Matters magazine who are going to be logging in today to watch the show, or to watch the Facebook Live session. So if you are from CMM, hello. Hope you're all good and well, and look forward to seeing you very soon in the future. Feel free to pass comments and ask questions. Right, we've got to 4:32. So we may as well get started. I know some other people will come and join. If there is people that you know that wanted to watch, go and give them a nudge and tell them to come forward. I'm going to start off by introducing myself for those that don't know me. I'm Paul Blaine and I'm the Director of Training Services at what we now regard as Elfie Training. So for some of you, the older ones will know it as e-learning for you, and Affinity Training, it's now combined as one brand into Elfie Training, but it's still the same people, still the same service, still the same product. So welcome if you're joining us for the first time. If you are someone that has come back on a number of occasions, again, good to see you again. It's been 2 weeks since we've done this. I can't believe that's gone by like that. I mean, we had the Easter break, and then last week, unfortunately, due to meetings, I was unable to do the Facebook Live. But we are back this week, so I missed you for 2 weeks, but we're going to get that ball rolling going forward. A few little shout outs I need to do first of all. I have no camera person this week, so hence why the reason that the camera is focused completely on me, and I'm going to stay stationary. So I would normally be all over the place, but I'm going to stay stationary this week because it's just sort of like in front of me. Becky Webster is normally the person who holds the camera for us, and you may remember from the last session she went off on maternity leave. I'm pleased to say that she's had her baby. So Becky, if you are watching or you watch it back later, congratulations. You've got a little baby and it's called Dylan. So welcome Dylan to the world. It's going to be good to have you back at work, and we hope that you enjoy your maternity leave, because when you do get back it's going to be busy, and we're going to be doing all we can all the time to make sure that the customer gets a service that they deserve, and that's from the training company. So best wishes to Becky, I'm sure, from all of us. Talia's just commented that we're on a new tripod. Wonder who got that? Yes, Talia, it was you that got the tripod. You should be very proud of me though for being able to set it up, so I hope so. Guys, if you want to go over to our website to watch any of the videos back live that we've done in these sessions, our website is, you can go through the normal process. I normally always say with the www.elearningforyou.co.uk. or you can go through a new title, which I'm sure if Talia is on the screen, she will type into that comment section. So it'll be elfie.training.co.uk, but we'll bring that up in the comment section so you can get it there. You can watch back on every session that we've done by clicking on the YouTube button from our website, and there's a number of different videos on there, some on social media, as you know, if you've been watching over the weeks, and some on some of the subjects that we're going to cover today. So please head over to there. There's some good videos to view on there, and it will help you with your CPD. It may even give you some insight into how to have better positive tips in terms of what you're trying to achieve within your own business. So I highly recommend it. There's one specifically on there that's on social media, which Chelsea joined me, if you remember back from CPL. It's well worth a watch, that one. So go over and have a look at it. It will help you with your Facebook, with your website, with your Twitter feeds, etc. like that. Always worth a watch. Now, getting on to today's subject. Now, you'll know that over the last few weeks we've been concentrating on CQC, and we've been concentrating on the key lines of inquiry. Remember back, we looked at what were they looking for when it came to safe, and I think last time we were looking at how you could be effective in the workplace and responsive. So what we want to concentrate this week is on the element of caring, and that's where I want to focus attention, because to be fair, a lot of people would look at that as the standard of the 5 key lines of inquiry. You know, there's a lot of management that goes into whether you are safe, effective, responsive, or well led. But when it comes to are you caring, well, that's about your team. That's about the service that you deliver, your bread and butter, if you like. It's what you should be exceptional at. And we see that a lot within CQC inspection reports. You sometimes see care homes receiving of the 5 standards where they'll get a requires improvement in being safe, a requires improvement in effective, a good and responsive, a good in caring, and then a requires improvement in well led. So good tends to follow the care, but that comes down to the beast, that the people that actually we want to deliver that care generally are good at delivering that care, if not even better. But I want to sort of like touch on a few little tips today about what CQC specifically are looking for. Some of you, this might be no news to you whatsoever, because you fully understand it. But certainly if you've got any questions you want to ask during this Facebook Live session, maybe it's things that you're doing within your care environment, maybe it's things that you're working with management on, maybe you're an MD or a CEO and you want to actually target some questions based at how you would do it from the higher end so that it seeps down onto the front line, which is the floor. Feel free to throw those questions away. Let's make it interactive. Hi Lisa, I see you've joined us. Hope all is good. I've seen Lisa before, so she's probably enjoying her rest after doing a shift on the floor. So hi Lisa. Now, the way CQC would look at caring is they would look at in the format of pre-inspection, so information that they can gather prior to actually attending for an inspection. But the majority of their information on caring is going to come from the visual, what they actually see on the floor. So what are your staff up to at that moment in time? And I think the easiest way to describe caring is to look at how CQC actually describe it. And they say, by caring, we mean that staff involve and treat people with compassion, kindness, dignity and respect. Now, it's quite a key element, that, with compassion, kindness, dignity and respect. So what you've got to actually start to understand there is, how are you going to evidence that? Because you may actually think, well, we do that. That is exactly what we do, and when that inspector comes in, that is what they're going to see, and that is what I'm going to tell them about, and they're going to believe me, and they're going to write it in a report, and all's going to be well and good. Well, the reality of the situation is, not that they're not going to believe you, but they're going to want to see some hard evidence of how you can be sure in yourself that the service you deliver is compassionate, is kind, and is done in a way that it involves dignity and respect, So how are you going to evidence that? Now, the first thing I want to start off with in that, and I think this is quite key, is we have to try and understand what good care looks like. I think that's the first part. Now, we deliver a service, if you like. That's what care home owners do. That's what hospitals do. They deliver a service to someone. They are taking money in the hope that they can give you a product or a service that is acceptable to you, that is expectant of you. And the first and foremost thing on everybody's mind is care. Am I being cared for well? Am I going to be cared for well? And if we look at the general eyes of the public, it's not necessarily the bureaucracy that they're interested in the paperwork, it's how the person feels. So the first question that I would pose to you is, how do you know what good care looks like? Is it gut instinct? Is it what you've seen? Do you think it's a natural ability? How are you actually going to find what good care looks like? Now, the reality is you could do that tomorrow. You don't need to assume. You don't need to predict. You don't need to use learned knowledge. You will have a care home that is full of wonderful people who reside there. Some of you will know them as residents or service users, if you're a hospital, patients, clients, people, whatever terminology you wish to use. They are your fact finders there. Because shouldn't we ask them, what does good care look like? What is their expectancy on good care? When someone arrives at your service or your care facility for the first time, during that period of induction, if you like, or introduction into the setting, shouldn't we be asking them, what does good care look like to you? And because that's going to set the boundaries as to what is acceptable and what is not. And if we truly believe that everybody would have the exact same definition of what good care is, then we're not working in a way that is person-centered, that's for certain. So, why don't we do that? Why don't you take time out and go and ask the people that you deliver the service to, what does good care look like to you? Because that's the starting point. Now, the second point to all of that would be to actually start to look at what does good care look like to relatives and friends of people who reside at that care facility. Can we ask them that question? What does it look like? What is their expectancy? You'd be surprised at the sort of information and the answers you get back, and you'd be very surprised that actually it gives you a much clearer pathway of what it is that you're going to try and achieve. And I'm going to bring all this full circle very shortly to how you're going to use this in an inspection. So first of all, we need to ask the person that is using the service or residing at the service, what does good care look like to them? And then the second one is, for their loved ones, what does good care look like to them? And that is not just the care of the resident, the service user, or the client. That's the care of the relative and the friend as well. When they enter your environment, what does good care of them look like? Are they safe? Are they feeling that they're supported in times of need? All of it fits in. It's all one package. Then we need to actually then look at our staff team, and we need to ask them, what does good care look like to your staff? So you could actually form 3 questionnaires straight away that just basically concentrates on what does good care look like to you. And we could actually put 1 questionnaire out to the people that reside within the facility, 1 questionnaire out to the loved ones of the people that reside within the facility, and then 1 questionnaire out to the staff who work within your organisation. Now, when you get all that information back and you start to collate it, what you're trying to look for is, are they the same values? Are they the same reasons? Is everything that we're doing aligned? Or is there gaps? Or is someone thinking that it's completely different to another person? And therefore, if it is, how can we deliver a consistent service to that individual who wants that good care? So what I'm trying to get at here is don't try and go and figure out what good care looks like for yourself. Use everything in your power, all the mechanisms, to actually get what good care is from the service that you deliver. So do your staff know what it looks like? and is that aligned to what your residents or your clients think that good care is, and then bring it back to, are the relatives of all those loved ones, are they satisfied? Do they know what good care is? And once we've done that, we can then start to actually concentrate on the values of what good care is. And we can create that mission statement or that plan of how we are going to implement what Earth Service, what the stakeholders of Earth Service believe good care is. How are we going to make sure that that happens, that we bring that to the forefront? Is it a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, a 12-month plan? You know how I like to go on about plans. There you are. We're starting it now, the 3, the 6, the 12, to actually get to that point of good care. Now, the reason why that's so important, not just for the credibility of your service, not just for the trust that you want people to have in what you deliver, because a lot of stuff fits into that, but more so because I sort of mentioned right at the beginning that a lot of how we actually, or how CQC are going to judge this particular key line of inquiry is what they see on the day. So whether it is their subject matter expert or their lay assessor or the actual inspectorate themselves, whatever they are seeing on the floor, whatever they are hearing from the staff, and whatever they are being told by anybody that enters your premise or resides in the premise, will allow them to make the judgment of whether you are delivering care that is inadequate, or care that requires improvement, or care that is good, or care that is outstanding. Now, on the basis of that, wouldn't it be much better if all your staff had gone through this process, and all your residents, relatives had gone through this process as well together, to establish what those values of good care look like, and then you start to formalize how you deliver them into your supervisions, into your competency assessments, into your appraisals, into the unique training, the bespoke training or upskilling that you're going to do to your staff, so that on the day of that inspection, everybody can turn around and say, yes, there was a large project undertaken. I was a key stakeholder in that as a resident of this facility, to actually state what I believed my values were for good care. And staff can say this also, and relatives visiting can input into that as well. Now, CQC hearing that will see that you have invested a lot of time, energy and effort into getting what is the most fundamental, critical part of your business correct. And that will filter through to all the other key lines of inquiry, because that will filter through to the well-led, which I'll talk more about next week when we're talking. That will filter through to you being responsive, because you're being responsive to the needs of what your business needs. You're being effective because you're now delivering that, and you're keeping people safe because you're upholding their values. Remember what CQC are saying on this. You must be compassionate, or compassion means that you care. You must be kind and loving. You must want to do the job. We must have staff that feel supported, staff that feel engaged, and staff that feel they want to continue to deliver a high quality service. Dignity and respect come into that. Now, the dignity and respect come into the fact that if that is ethics of our business, then we are going to ensure at all times that with that ethic, that anybody seeing any visual on the floor will see that we're doing it correct. Now, the easiest way for me to put this is you don't need to wait for an inspector to come into your building to tell you how good you are at caring. Every single moment of every single day, you have got to show that you are good at caring, because that's your business, that's your reputation, that's what you do. That's why we competency assess things, that's why we do good supervision and appraisal, to make sure that if an inspector comes in, you have nothing to fear, because your staff do this naturally. they deliver, and they have the values to do it. They are trained, they are skilled, they are inducted properly, and they are part of a team with a good hierarchy and a flow that they know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it right. And that's the person-centered culture that will start to embrace into your company, where you will be able to start to realise that actually every day is an inspection. So when the inspector turns up, it makes no odds. I trust every one of my staff to deliver high standards of care. But you need to really focus on the fact of, are you getting it right now, and how do you know you're getting it right? And believe me, and I say this in the nicest possible way, if you are an organisation out there that received good in care, well, please take this the way I mean it. So you should receive good in care. That's your business. If you're receiving requires improvement or inadequate within care, then you need to do something about that now. Because if we can't get that bit right, if we can't meet what the expectations of the law is under that area, then how the heck are we going to get the rest of it right? So concentrate fully on making sure that the caring aspect of that is the bread and butter, and be that role model to your staff members to say, this is what is acceptable, this is what is not, but also fundamentally, going back to what I said at the beginning, know what your customer, if you like, know what your customers' expectations are. What are their standards of care? Now, if you want to be outstanding when it comes to care, then you need to get to a position where staff have a much bigger vested interest in the people that stay there or reside there, or the customer, if you like, than just coming in and doing a standard shift and going home. That their caringness actually takes it to a point where they are changing the lives of the people that reside in there, that they are so focused on improving quality for that person, that when that person embraces an inspector or someone else, they will say, I am cared for at a level that I would never have thought possible. And that's when you know you've got an exceptional team. You have to work on that. You have to put the work in every day. Staff will want to be led. Staff will be wanting someone to show them the right way, the experience and the knowledge to shine through. Be that person. Show them what outstanding looks at. That should be the easiest key line of inquiry. That should be the easiest one of the 5 to achieve outstanding in. It really should. Why shouldn't you get outstanding in that? If you truly believe when you walk into your service tomorrow and you look around, if you think, do you know what, every one of my team is outstanding at this, you will get outstanding in care. That I can be sure of. But you have to be sure that every member of staff is to an outstanding level. Every member of staff is committed to those values. Every member of staff is a stakeholder. And every member of staff feels that the company is there to help them be outstanding. And if they can be outstanding, then they'll make your business outstanding. Now, I could go on and on about this for some time, because it's very important to me that we focus on the care element of the 5 standards, if you like, that we're looking at. And it's very important to me that if you're a manager, that you take time to reflect on that. That if you have a member of staff that you actually think isn't delivering outstanding care, and I'll just make a little point on this. If I was the inspector and I was in your facility now, and I didn't see staff smiling or happy or content, and I heard a bit of moaning and a little bit of whinging, or staff were actually explaining to me that they don't have time, that they're too busy and they're rushed, every one of those comments is edging away at that outstanding. You may have started off with outstanding, but you're down to good. Now the problem is, the more staff that I speak to and the more staff that say that to me, the more likely you're going to edge all the way down to requires improvement. They're going to look at your senior staff to see whether they are conveying a message of support. They're going to look at the way people are treated, particularly around lunchtime. Are people given time and consideration to eat their meals? Have they been given choice? Is there a lot of love within the facility? When relatives come in to visit, can they see smiling faces? Can they see reassurance and compassion? And there's lots of different things you can do to actually help that. Don't just do it on inspection day. This has to be now. This has to be, we are going to do this every single time to every visitor, because it is enshrined in the values of what we do. Now, I work with a number of care facilities to help them in certain areas like this, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. I sort of did one of these Facebook Live sessions for another facility this morning. What I introduced to them was the concept of a project called Smile, which was basically, what I wanted to do was to gather the evidence, help gather the evidence of what people thought of the staff. So we put a jar at the front of the home, a smile jar. Now the smile stands for something. I won't go into the whole nuts and bolts about that, but the idea is that when someone makes you feel as if they're making you smile, they're doing something more than what is expected, you would write a little note of who that was and what it was, and you would pop it into the jar. Now this was for doctors, nurses that visit the home, this was for relatives, it was for residents who reside within the home, it was for friends of the facility. Staff could put these notes into the bar, and there was an incentive. There's a reward system for, you get 1 point per note, so if you get up to 100 notes, there's an incentive there for you. 500, there's a bigger incentive, etc. like that. So it could take a year to get up to that. But the full idea behind it is it's a good way to start evidencing positive comments of what people feel. We started this project for this home in March the 1st. And I just sort of like, when I was going through it this morning, I just want to sort of like give you a little bit of insight into, these are the notes that I refer to. And these are all notes from residents, relatives, friends, doctors, district nurses, chiropodists, anybody visiting the home. Look at it. Look at it. From March the 1st, these are all positive notes. All of you deserve medals. Diane, thank you for being very helpful. Keep smiling. Thanks, Sam. They just go on. I'm not going to sit here and read them all. Nelia, she is always pleasant and asked if I'm all right. You know, these are all comments from your residents. Nothing is too much for her to do. Helpful. And that's to a girl called Becky. Every member of staff is getting notes left here. This is a good one. Lost a t-shirt, and Ashley went out of her way to go and find it for me. Put my mind at ease. And this is from a resident. Now, that resident would have been anxious. There'd have been a lot of anxiety there. She's obviously explaining that she was becoming stressed because she couldn't find a t-shirt. The member of staff goes and finds a t-shirt for her, and this lady is happy enough to write a note and pop that into the jar. And the satisfaction to that member of staff to know that someone felt valued enough and supported enough that they wanted to make a comment on that. So don't be afraid to go and get good messages. Look at them all. So you think about it. If CQC turn up to the inspection, and then let's say that home's due its inspection in January of next year, how many of these are we going to have? So when CQC turn around and say, how can you evidence that you deliver good care? There you go. That's what we've got to start doing. We have to get the information so that we can present it. The staff get a reward out of it. They get satisfaction that the fact that they are feeling that people appreciate what they do, even the tiny, small things. Relatives are able to actually put messages across. Your stakeholders aren't just residents and relatives. Your stakeholders are the people that visit your home, the chiropodist, the dietitian, the salt team, the hairdresser, you know, the district nurse, the doctor. They could all be visiting your home on day of inspection. So let's find out what they think now. Why wait till then? Let's gather that information, let's gather that evidence, and let's start doing it. If you see someone doing moving and handling incorrectly, sort it. Because if they do it incorrectly during the day of inspection and it's seen, how can you be caring? Think about it. We need people to do things right. I go back to what I say. It's the bread and butter of what we do caring. Don't accept good on your inspection report for caring. Go for outstanding. That's the service you offer. Paperwork, yes, we can get it wrong. We're not all fantastic at writing endless love stories. We're not all fantastic at writing legal records. But what we should all be fantastic at doing is delivering care. Because that's the reason we started the job. That's the reason you started your business. And that is the reason why every morning when you wake up, you go back and you go again to improve the quality of life of someone. All you've got to do is work on how am I going to make sure when that inspector walks through that door, they're going to see how wonderful we are. How are you going to get your staff to be able to sell themselves? How are you going to sell yourself? How are you going to put so much information in front of that inspector that they can't do anything else other than to say, you guys care. You guys really care. And that is all that one of the 5 standards is asking for. The others have got so much criteria behind it that you can go into a whole wealth and range on it. But this one's easy. This one should be every bit of training that we're doing to deliver a better standard of care within our setting and our service. Now, I normally run these sessions for about 20 minutes. I think we've gone over, I think we're about half an hour now. I just want to, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. As always, you can leave me a comment after this session and I'll be quite happy to answer it, or you can send me an email, it's your choice. You can go onto the website and you can put an email through there. Couple of things that I just wanted to point out before I go. Next week we're going to look at the well-led mechanism of the standards, of the 5 standards, and that's a big one. So if you can, come and join us. If you know a manager, get them to join us, because that one is specifically for them. That's how we're going to target it. The week after that, we're not doing Facebook Live on a Friday, we're actually doing it on a Thursday. And we're doing it all the way from Newcastle at the headquarters of NCFE. Now, if anybody knows who NCFE are, you will know that they're a leading accreditation body in the UK and wider. And we've been fortunate at Elfie Training for both the online and the face-to-face that we've been able to partner up with them to go forward with what we believe are exciting products that will revolutionise the market. So we're going to be doing it from there. Now, NCFE are going to have some special speakers for us that day, so I'm probably going to be doing more of the interviewing. But the one thing that they will talk about that day is the new apprenticeship levy, which some of you may have heard of. So if you're a little bit confused around the apprenticeship levy, how it's going to work, anything to do with, if you're old school like me, MVQ, I know it then moved to QCF and it moved further afield from that. But the reality is, if you want to talk about funded learning, if you want to talk about qualifications, if you want to talk about career pathways, it's going to be the perfect point to do that. So please keep note. We're going to be doing a lot of PR around it, so please keep note on the Facebook page for that. It's the week after next that we're going to NCFE. I want lots of you to come online and ask your questions, because to be fair, money can't buy that Facebook Live session. We're going to have the right people answering your questions that day. In the meantime, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to say thank you to you all. One last little message there, and that is to every carer that's watching this. We do appreciate everything that you do, and if you're working this Bank Holiday Monday, we appreciate that as well. As I do all the care staff that work under my wing. They work not great hours, not great pay, but they come in, they're committed to changing their lives. So if you're with your carers today, thank them for that. It's not the easiest job in the world. If you are off for the bank holiday, enjoy it, spend some time with your family, rest, hope the sun comes out. I will see you next week. So until then, thank you very much, and bye.